In this video, we will talk about the most important 9 FP&A functions. First, let's understand what is FP&A. If I have to explain FP&A in simple words, I will say that FP&A is a bridge between the business and the functional teams and the senior management. What it means is for most of the time you will see FP&A teams would collect information and inputs from business or function teams and then present the final output to senior management. Now that we have understood what FP&A team does, let's talk about the 9 most important FP&A functions. Number 1 is budgeting. Budgeting in organizations is making a financial plan for the whole company. First, the company sets its goals. For example, it might be launching a new product or increasing revenues and profits. Then it decides how much money to spend on different departments and projects to reach those goals. And throughout the year, the company will keep an eye on its spending and compare it to the plan to see if everything is on track. If there are any big differences, the company might adjust its budget to stay on track. Ultimately, the budget helps the organization make smart decisions about where to invest their money to grow and succeed. The second activity is forecasting. Forecasting is predicting the future to make better decisions today. It involves using past data and current trends to estimate what might happen next. For example, a retail store might forecast how much inventory to order based on their sales trends and upcoming events. Forecasting helps businesses plan ahead, anticipate changes, and allocate resources more effectively. It's like looking into a crystal ball to see what lies ahead and preparing it for in advance. So by making accurate forecasts, organization can reduce risk and seize opportunities for growth. A lot of people get confused between the difference between budgeting and forecasting. The main difference between budgets and forecast is in their purpose and time frame. A budget outlines the expected income and expenses of the company at the very beginning of the year, typically for the next financial year. Budget sets targets and allocates resources based on the organization's goals and priorities. Budgets are usually more rigid and they focus on controlling costs and managing resources efficiently. On the other hand, a forecast is a prediction of the future financial performance based on current data and trends. Forecasts are far more flexible and can be adjusted to reflect changes in the business environment. They provide insights into potential outcomes and help companies make informed decisions in real time. In summary, budgets are structured plan for achieving financial goals over a fixed period, while forecasts are dynamic predictions of future performance that can be adjusted as the conditions change. Budgets focus on planning and resource allocation, while forecasts focus on predicting outcomes. Say you are planning a road trip. Your budget in this case would involve planning how much money you will spend on gas, food, accommodation for the entire trip. Now you allocate specific amounts to each of these categories based on your overall spending budget. On the other hand, your forecast would be predicting how far you will drive every day and where you might stop along the way. As the conditions change, such as unexpected traffic or road closures, you might have to adjust your plan. Maybe skip a planned stop or take a detour. So, in this case, the budgets help you set the overall spending plan for the trip, while forecast is helping you anticipate what might happen during the journey and adapt your plans as needed. Let's move to the next activity, which is management reporting. Management reporting involves preparing reports for the senior management about how the company is doing. It includes important numbers and facts that may show expenses, revenues, and key drivers. This helps the senior management to see what's going well and what needs their immediate attention so that they can make smart decisions to keep company on track. It is giving the senior management a clear picture of what's happening in the company so that they can make better decisions. Management reports are also known as MIS, natural P&L, or department income statements in some cases. They are likely to be used by almost everyone in the company, right from the board of directors to line managers. Management reports often create a common language inside the company for us to talk about its business. One thing that differentiates the accounting reports from the management reports is that management report presents the revenues and expenses by their natural groupings and how senior management wants to see it instead of following accounting standards and rules. Month end reports, quarter end reports, flash reports, headcount reports, revenue reports, expense reports are some examples of common management reports. Moving on to the next, number four is variance analysis. Variance analysis is comparing what actually happened to what was planned. It involves looking at the differences or variances between the expected outcomes and the actual outcome in terms of revenues, expenses, or any other key metrics. By identifying these differences, businesses can understand what went right or wrong and take corrective actions if needed. It is figuring out why things didn't go as planned and making adjustments to come back on track. One of the most important and common techniques of doing variance analysis is the 5 why technique. Let's take a look at an example of.
So 5 analysis. This is a technique. This was invented by the founder of a company called Toyota in the 1930s. So initially, it was used to identify root causes of manufacturing defects. But later on in the 1980s, 1990s, this technique got started, became more famous, and we also started using this in other functions and in also finance. Um, so this is a process of asking why question until we get to a root cause and develop an insight on what is actually causing the variance. So for example, on the screen we see an example. If I am working on a management report and I see that my revenues are lower and what I had expected than what I had expected, I might apply this 5 why technique and I might ask questions one by one. So the first question I can ask is, why are my total revenues lower than expected? So using the ERP tool or BI tool, I can figure out maybe the majority of the shortfall is coming from one particular department. So if I notice, okay, XYZ department is the majority of the shortfall, 80% of it, then uh, uh, I will reach out to that person, whoever is heading that department or whoever is my contact in that department, and ask him, okay, why are the revenues in your department lower than plan? And that person might come back and say something like, okay, this is because we offered some big discounts on our products, which was not in plan. And most people will stop and give this reason in the variance commentary, and even I used to do that early on when I was just very new in FP&A. But you should not stop there. What I would suggest is go to the question three, where you again ask that business person a question saying that, okay, why did we offer these discounts, which were more than expected or which we had not planned for? So that business person will say, okay, this is because we ran a promotion for say one of the products in our department. So one product we ran a heavy discounted promotion on that. That's why this variance is coming. Now, again, you should not stop there. You should again ask, why did you run that promotion on that product? And maybe that person may not know it because he's slightly junior. So he will say, okay, I'll check with my senior, I'll check with my business head, and I'll come back to you. And then he comes back to you and says that this is something we had to do because that particular product was not moving very fast. It was a slow moving product, and we had accumulated, say, a lot of inventory. And that's how when you that's how when you come to the insight, okay, this product is not doing very well, so should we continue investing in producing this product? Maybe this insight you can bring to the management and saying that, okay, we ran a lot of discount on this. We already have 4 months of inventory which is not getting sold, so should we continue this product or should we think about discontinuing that product? So see, one variance that you saw that led to so many questions, and after answering like 4 or 5 questions you come to the actual business root cause level insight.
After variance analysis, next is profitability analysis. Profitability analysis is figuring out which parts of the business make the most money. It involves looking at the costs and revenues associated with different products, services, business units to determine their profitability. By comparing the money made with the money spent, companies can identify their most profitable ventures and allocate resources accordingly. It's finding out what's making the most money so that companies can focus on those areas and maximize profits. Some examples of profitability analysis include customer profitability, branch profitability, project profitability. After profitability analysis, we move to data analysis. Data analysis involves sorting through large amounts of data to identify patterns, trends, and relationships that can inform decision making. By using techniques such as statistical analysis and data visualization, businesses can gain a deeper understanding of their operations, customers, and market trends. Data analysis is like mining for gold in a mountain of data to discover the hidden opportunities and make smarter choices. Number seven is financial modeling. Financial modeling is creating a spreadsheet representation of company's business model which helps to forecast future outcomes. It requires building mathematical and driver based models that simulate different scenarios and outcomes based on various assumptions and inputs. By using spreadsheets or specialized financial modeling softwares, we can forecast revenues, expenses, and cash flows to help in decision making and strategic planning. Next is number eight, data storytelling. Data storytelling is crafting a compelling narrative using numbers and data. It involves presenting data in a way that engages and resonates with the audience, making complex information easy to understand and memorable. By combining visualizations, anecdotes, and insights, storytellers can convey the meaning behind the data and inspire action. Data storytelling is like weaving a story that brings data to life, help people connect with the information on an emotional level, and drive meaningful change. Finally, let's move to number nine, which is finance business partnering. Finance business partnering is becoming a strategic advisor within your company. It involves collaborating with other departments like marketing, sales, or operations to help them understand and achieve their financial goals. By providing insights, analysis, and support, finance professionals can become trusted partners who contribute in decision making and driving business success. It's like being the finance expert who work closely with the other business teams to ensure that the financial considerations are integrated into every aspect of the organization's operations and decisions. From budgeting and forecasting to variance analysis and profitability analysis, each function plays a critical role in driving the financial success and guiding strategic decision making. And by using the power of data analysis, financial modeling, data storytelling, FP&A can become trusted advisors and partners with the other departments in the business to help achieve the overall company goals. With a deep understanding of all of these nine functions, organizations can adapt to changing circumstances, seize opportunities, and thrive in today's ever changing business environment. If you are serious about your career in FP&A, then do watch this webinar on accounting to FP&A and check out our group coaching and self-paced FP&A programs. Also, you can download the 9 key FP&A functions cheat sheet from the link in the description below. Share your thoughts or questions in the comments below and let me know what topics you'd like me to cover next. And for more content on FP&A, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Thank you for watching and I will see you in the next video.